Paul Hogan. You won't believe how one of Hollywood's most iconic love stories unraveled behind the scenes. To the world, it looked like a fairy tale. The rugged Aussie hero who captured global fame in Crocodile Dundee, and the glamorous American actress who became his real-life leading lady. But what really happened when Paul Hogan's marriage to Linda Kozlowski fell apart left scars far deeper than most fans could ever imagine. Born on the 8th of October, 1939, in Lightning Ridge, Australia, Hogan grew up far from the glitz of Hollywood. His childhood was simple, grounded in the tough realities of working-class life. He started out as a rigger on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, dangling high above the water, repairing steel beams with grit and courage. It was dangerous, back-breaking work, but it toughened him and shaped that cheeky, resilient humor that would later become his trademark. Now, Hogan wasn't aiming for stardom. His big break came by accident in 1971 when he stepped onto the stage of a local television talent show. With his quick wit, Aussie charm, and self-deprecating humor, he stole the spotlight. People loved him because he was real, unpolished, and nothing like the imported comedy dominating the screens. That one-chance appearance launched The Paul Hogan Show, a sketch comedy that made him a household name through the 70 seconds and 80 seconds. But fame is never a straight road. In 1986, Hogan co-wrote and starred in the movie that would change his life forever, Crocodile Dundee. With its blend of outback grit and New York City culture clash, the film became a global phenomenon, raking in hundreds of millions. Practically overnight, Hogan went from local funny man to international superstar. He won a Golden Globe, got nominated for an Oscar, and became the face of Australia to audiences worldwide. And on that set, he met Linda Kozlowski. Their chemistry was instant, so magnetic that it didn't just light up the screen, it spilled into real life. By 1990, they were married. To fans, it looked like the perfect Hollywood story. The outback adventurer and the glamorous actress, side by side in life and on red carpets. A few years later, they welcomed their son, Chance. For more than 2 decades, the pair seemed inseparable, often photographed smiling and united. But behind closed doors, things weren't always as perfect as they appeared. Hogan had already endured a messy split with his first wife, Noeline Edwards, after nearly 3 decades and 5 children together. That divorce was one of Australia's ugliest celebrity separations, splashed across the press with accusations, bitterness, and heartbreak. When he found love with Linda, it felt like redemption. Yet history has a way of repeating itself. By 2013, cracks in the marriage could no longer be ignored. Linda Kozlowski filed for divorce after more than 20 years together, citing irreconcilable differences. Compared to his first divorce, this one was quieter, even described as amicable. But for Hogan, the pain was no less real. He later revealed the true emotional cost of losing the woman he once called his partner and best friend. "Divorce is like surgery without anesthesia," he said. "You feel every cut, every tear, and it leaves scars you can't see, but you feel every single day." For a man known worldwide for his easygoing charm, those words exposed a raw, the vulnerable side fans rarely got to see. Imagine this. After decades of waking up next to someone, raising a child together, and sharing every triumph and setback, suddenly, the house feels empty. Hogan described walking past her empty chair, noticing her coffee cup in the cupboard, and feeling a sharp stab of loss each time. The silence wasn't peaceful, it was deafening. And it wasn't just the personal bond he lost. Their marriage was woven into his career. Every Crocodile Dundee poster, every red carpet photo, every memory carried her face. "It's not like you can just erase the past," he admitted. For Hogan, moving on meant confronting a life and career forever tied to the woman he'd once loved. Despite the heartbreak, Hogan never lashed out publicly. He always spoke of Linda with respect, especially as the mother of their son. But he confessed that the pain didn't end when the papers were signed. If anything, that's when it truly began. People think divorce ends the pain once the papers are filed, he said, but the truth is, that's when it begins. That's when you start living with the absence, the loneliness, the wondering if you could have done something different. Those words hit hard because they strip away the fame, the fortune, the global recognition. At the end of the day, here was a man confronting the same heartbreak and regrets as anyone who's ever watched love slip through their fingers. Still, even in the midst of his pain, Hogan looked for perspective. The scars don't vanish, but you find a way to keep going, he explained. Life doesn't stop because your heart's been broken. You just hope the next chapter is a little kinder. And that's the remarkable thing about Paul Hogan. Whether dangling off a bridge, cracking jokes on television, or playing the world's most famous crocodile hunter, he's always faced life with humor and resilience. But when it came to love, even he couldn't laugh his way through the heartbreak. So, the next time you think of Paul Hogan, don't just picture the cheeky grin and the iconic hat. Remember the man who admitted that even legends bleed when their hearts are broken. His story is a reminder that behind every Hollywood romance lies real human vulnerability, and that no amount of fame can shield you from the pain of love lost. If you found this story eye-opening, make sure you hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more untold stories of the stars you thought you knew. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.